right, here today with David O'Dwyer at the Bowie Sale Commission, Bowie Sale Barn over here, and kind of want to talk a little bit about how the process works, I guess, so to say, with selling cattle, sheep, goats, horses. I know y'all kind of do a little multi-species, so to say, but we want to kind of get your input on what happens and as far as, how this place runs and how it operates, and just kind of talk a little bit of us. And you'll notice David has just a little bit different accent. He came from Ireland, so it's good to have him over here, and he's been over here several years now. But we'll kind of turn it over to you, David, and kind of explain what's going on here.
Okay, every Saturday we have a sheep, goat, and cattle sale. We're starting at 11 a.m. We'll start with sheep and goats, move on to our bottle calves, and after that we'll move on to our packer cows and our pairs and our wean calves after that. On a Sunday, first Sunday of the month over here, we will have a horse sale, and we're turning into a pretty big horse sale over here at the moment. Our cow sale generally runs maybe 150 to 250 cattle per week, and we do anywhere from 50 to 150 head of sheep. Our horse sale is growing quite significantly. It's this past weekend we've just done 420 horses through our sale, which was a pretty long deal. They sell a lot slower than cattle, so we started at 12 p.m. We didn't finish up till about 2:30 in the morning selling. So we have a couple of different things going on here. We stay extremely busy all the time with it, and we're just kind of keeping it growing as much as possible.
And now with our COVID deal that's come in, have you seen the numbers drop a little bit, or the prices drop a little bit because of this? I mean, what are you seeing out there in the market? Because we're hearing that packers are getting a lot more money at the end, before they go to the grocery store and everything else. I'm just kind of curious how that's relating back down here to the producer.
On the cow side, a lot of the local farmers and stuff were a lot more scared to bring their cattle up here. So we did see a reduce in numbers coming up here. As far as pricing, it has dropped a little bit, but it's starting to go back up. On our horse side, it has not dropped at all. It's gone through the roof on horses.
Okay. All right.
This past weekend, as far as horses, they were skyrocketed.
Right. And we'll take a tour through the sale barn, kind of let y'all see what it looks like back there. But typically, kind of lead us through. So if I'm a producer and I'm bringing, let's just say a couple of, 5-weight calves, 500-pound calves in here, what's going to happen? I mean, am I going to drop them out the back, and what happens then?
Basically, you'll go down to our drive-through down the back. You'll meet one of our workers, either Tony or Bobby, and they will get you checked in, get your cattle tagged. They'll put them in the section where your cattle are going to sell through the sale. They'll be on feed and water. They'll be brought up through the ring right here. We'll have them weighed on this side, and once they go through the other side, they will be pinned back out the back for the buyer to pick up.
Right. And you might have certain buyers that buy cattle for feedlots or for certain industry, part of the industry, or you have somebody that just wants to buy a handful of cows or calves, don't you? I guess you get all kinds.
On our Saturday sale, we get a lot of people from outside of local people. Like, we get a lot of city people that will come down. They only want to buy one or two for their kind of backyard sort of deal.
Right.
They may pick up some bottle calves for their kids. So as a Saturday sale, we get a wider variety of people that come in. And I think that helps quite a lot too. It helps keep the market pretty good. They want to come, they want to see the animals, they want to bring their kids out. So it's just something a little different for the families to get into some livestock, So,
right.
But we do have our regular buyers here that will buy our packer cows or the wean calves and put them out to grass too.
Okay. And you might talk a little bit, and I know we're kind of focusing on cattle, we'll kind of roll into the other deal. So, we always hear that tradition about how a solid pattern calf seems to bring more money than a spotted calf, and the reason behind that is what?
A lot of the time, people prefer your spotted cattle, your solid cattle, your red Angus, your black Angus.
We just seem to say, to me, it seems like there's a shy away from the spotted cattle because of maybe quote unquote the Longhorn tradition. Maybe not as much muscle pattern there, maybe not as much finishing on those cattle.
Right.
So
right.
And so you'll see a dock sometimes, what they call a dock or a lesser pay.
Yes.
for those cattle.
So our red and black Angus, when they're coming through the ring, they're always going to be high dollar, all top dollar on those. When it comes to your spotted cattle, they're generally more roping type cattle. A lot of them come in that are used up, and you have to bring all those factors into it as well. You know, people will buy them for roping, and they can be worn out when they come up too. So when they do come through, people see them as that as well. So
Okay, all right. And then your packer cattle, which are usually cattle or cows, maybe even bulls at the end of their lifespan, so to say. And maybe they're shorter in their tooth, the teeth ground down, just not as much tooth in there. Maybe they're just not fleshing as well anymore, and so that's when you start seeing some of those packer buyers come in and buy those. And typically they go into hamburger meat.
Yes.
That's typically the situation. So.
yeah, and we have those sectioned towards the start of the sale where all the packer cows will run together.
Right.
And then all our packer buyers, we have 4 different packer buyers here that'll go through them and be able to buy them and give you what their value is.
A good fair market value,
Yes.
basically, for it,
Yes.
which is not the same value you might get for a 500 or 600 pound calf, you know. So keep that in mind too, as well. So, but switching gears now, the sheep and goat deal. I know y'all kind of picked that up on Saturdays as well. You know, you might talk a little bit about what's going on with sheep, because that seems to be picking up over the last several years. We seem to get more and more. I don't know if it's because we have smaller pieces of land around here. One reason is that. You know, I mean, what have you seen through that?
I think a lot of people are raising them, and a lot more people are butchering those lambs and stuff at this point as well. We've got a lot of people living in the United States from different countries that do eat more sheep and goat meat than Americans used to themselves, because primarily Americans used to eat beef.
Right.
So we've got a lot of people from different countries that'll come in specifically to buy those in certain times of the year, just to process them and have it for their customs too. So I think that's a big deal. A lot of people buy them for cleaning land. I mean, that's another factor as well that people buy them for.
Right. You know, and it seems like some of those, especially on the sheep end of it deal, you know, there's different holidays in there that they seem to be higher prices for them, and a certain
Yes.
weight lamb that you'll see sometimes that they're wanting to do, or even some intact males, you know, so some of that varies, you know. So if you ever decide to get into the sheep and goat industry, that's something you need to look at, you know, some of those holiday traditions as far as the people from outside the U.S., you know. And I guess you being from Ireland, y'all may have been even used to eating more sheep than cattle, I guess,
Yeah,
too, as well. And so,
the sheep market is pretty big over in Ireland, same with New Zealand. I mean, the people over there use it a lot more for a food substance more than some cattle sometimes, you know. So,
Right.
I mean, it just depends, each country differs, you know.
well, and each country has a different protein source, you know, so to say. And you know, here we're still big on beef and chicken and pork, and lamb and goat doesn't seem to be quite as a big consumption of meat as what, you know, those other ones produce. But it's still a
Right.
source of protein, so, and something to look at as far as that goes. Ventured over into the horse industry part of it. I know y'all kind of, you know, y'all been doing that for several years too now, but y'all really started at that sale the first Sunday of each month. It really turned out really well, and I think y'all even have a little short sermon that Sunday morning before the sale gets started too as well. But
Yes.
you might talk a little bit about that horse deal, because I know y'all are active video-wise, posting a lot of this on the internet, or through Cattle USA, I guess it is,
Yes.
and through Facebook Live as well sometimes. But you know, you might talk a little bit about how that's turning out over here.
Well, every day of the week we buy, sell, and trade horses. Those horses that I'll turn back and I'll make videos of each single horse, and I'll be able to put them online, and people will be able to come up here and buy them directly off us. Aside from that, we do the horse sale once a month, and people will come in from all over the United States. We have buyers and sellers from absolutely everywhere coming in. And they'll bring their stock, and if they want them videoed, I'll do videos like I do videos down on these alleys down here, and talk about the horse and its age and its height and what it would be good for. And that gives the people at home that are not able to make it to our horse sale a chance to see them before they come to the sale ring, and they can decide if they want to purchase them online or not. We do a live Facebook feed over here in the corner, where we have some new cameras just after getting set up in the last couple of days, where we do a live feed, and we also have our system up here, Cattle USA, where people bid online. When we've had probably out of 420 or so horses that we sold, at least 80 of those horses were sold online this past weekend, and they went from California to Pennsylvania. They went from all over the states.
Right. So if you happen to purchase one in California, you're not going to find that transportation or help them find that transportation to get it out there.
We provide transport everywhere.
Okay. Yeah. Right. And just another fee on top of what they're buying the horse.
Right.
But y'all do have, some mules and donkeys, and then y'all have even had a zebra come through here, I guess, as well, too. So,
yes, we've had a couple of zebras come through.
So, I mean, y'all get a little bit of everything. I guess if it's an equine kind of a species, y'all sold it, I guess.
Yes.
But it's kind of interesting, So, I know that it has been successful here as the horse program has been. We really appreciate the assistance that y'all provided here. I know, how long have y'all had this barn now?
Coming up on 5 years.
Coming up on 5 years now. So, it's been through several hands in the last 15, 20 years, but I think, with them stepping in, they're still getting things rolling. I think the horse sale really has been a big plus for what y'all got going on over here. And continuing the tradition of course, selling the cattle too.
Yes.
And very appreciative of that part of it and helping out the community around us as well. I guess what we'll do is kind of load up and see if we can't kind of go down the alleyways, take a look kind of some of the functionality of this and how it works inside this sale barn, and we'll kind of go from there now.
Sounds good.
All right, back here in some of the pens, and we'll kind of show you a little video of how these pens are set up. But generally, when they bring animals in here, whether it's cattle or horses, I assume too, this fact, is they bring them down a long alleyway. They'll kind of sort them up there towards the front. We'll probably get some video of that as well. But they'll sort them back into these different pens, and then they'll finally be run into the sale ring at some point in time. And so we're going to kind of talk a little bit about that. So if I bring the cows in here and I unload them, what's the first thing y'all going to do?
First thing is you can see there's a trailer coming in here right now, so they're going to unload off the trailer, go directly up the working chute, and that's where we're going to tag your animals. Everything gets a back tag number on it that makes sure that we know whose animal that we're selling. The check goes to the right person, and then everything is above board and legit. Once they go through that working chute, they'll come down, either usually if they come in on a Friday, we'll put them down below the hill into bigger pens on hay and water. If they come in the day of the sale, they will be put to the locations we have. We have wean calves on one side, we have packer cows down the middle of the other alley over here. So just depending on actually what we're selling is where we're going to put them. After that, like I said in the previous video, they'll go through the ring in order of baby calves, packer cows, wean calves, and they will come back down this alley that we're standing on right here, and will be pinned back in our pins under the catwalk or out here on this dirt side here. That way it makes it easy for when people come back to load back out that are after buying them. They'll shoot down this alley and go straight back onto the trailers. We try to keep everything as safe as possible for livestock and keep everything right and healthy.
Right. And in some cases, if I want to come back here and look at these cattle or horses, I guess y'all really don't need us necessarily in the way in the alleyway here, but I guess we can come up on the catwalk and take a look at some of these animals as well, right?
A lot of people will go on the catwalk. I don't mind as well. A lot of people, we have concrete alleys down here that the cattle usually are not ran on.
Okay.
And people like to walk down the concrete alleys and take a look at some of the livestock for the day. And we try to be as helpful as possible. If anyone has any questions, they can come to us and we can tell them where the cattle came from, or the horses, depending on what it is.
Okay, all right. Then we'll swing over and look at some other things too. We'll give a minute for these cattle to unload, but I think it's just a great opportunity for everybody to know how the sale barns work and how they work, and kind of how they give and flow. And come sale day, how y'all are able to keep it separate and holler out B29s where that cow's going to go, just so you can kind of keep up with everything.
Yeah.
So that way, when you're loading out, they already know B29's their pen or whatever.
Yeah. So basically, when they're sold inside, whatever buyer it is, if it was myself buying something, they'd say, said a pin B28 here for David O'Dwyer, all his stock is going to go in there unless it's asked for something specifically to be separate. So just depending on the different cuts.
Which way they're going to go, basically.
It's our alarm clock.
Some of the entertainment value back here, so you may not heard us. It wasn't exactly us talking, making those sounds. So even though somebody may think we're like that, but yeah. So go ahead. I'm sorry.
But basically, whatever cuts, like some of the bigger buyers may have 4, 5, 6 different cuts, so we'll pin them into 6 different pins. That way, it makes it a whole lot easier for our guys loading out. They know exactly what pin it's going to be and how many cattle are meant to be in that pin, and we check off all the numbers as we go as far as the cattle and getting them loaded out.
Okay, cool. Well, let's go take a shot of some of the equine you have over here.
Out or whatever, you know.
Right.
But we've got quite a few. The last of the is box cattle. Yeah. Like we had one there. I did the video of this guy all day. We had 3 babies.
So you'll post this one on Facebook, right?
Yeah.
So on that Facebook page, it's what is it under?
Bowie Livestock Sale Barn.
Okay. And you'll post those horses on there where you'll show this one maybe riding it, see what's wrong, what's good about it,
Yeah.
what some other things are, and go ahead and price it at that point in time as well.
Yeah, what we'll do is we'll tell them exactly height, age, sex. We'll try them out if they're right. If they don't, we'll let them know. But we try to give as much details as possible. If they have any issues, if they have a hurted eye, or if they're going to be lame or anything like that, I usually like to point all that stuff out.
Right.
So it's hard for people to buy online, so we try to make it as simple as possible.
Right.
And then we offer, because I had issue with some transporters and stuff like that, we offer transport as well. I'll either use my own transport, or I'll have guys that I trust and have good trucks and trailers, and I'll let them bid the people and they want to go with them.
Right.
I like to control everything, that way our customer is happier at the end of the day.
You bet. So, good.
Every 6 months, basically.
Just certified TDA skills,
Yeah.
kind of thing, make sure on weight and stuff like that. So,
Yeah.
right. So you weigh them before they come in the ring, so they know kind of what weight they're buying.
Yes.
Okay.
So there's 2 different weigh scales. So that's where packer or the bigger cows come in, and our deals, you could have 5 to 10 or whatever on there. And this side is for our jackpot at the end, where it's all just single calves that'll be coming in, and we weigh them one at a time. So it speeds up the process of it, because they're in a smaller area and a long chute, and that helps us go through the sale a little bit faster if we have bigger numbers.
Cool. Good deal. Well, David, we appreciate your time out here
No
today.
problem at all.
I mean,
Thank you for coming over.
taking your time and explaining a little bit about how the sale barn works and how we understand it, hopefully a little bit more, and especially you know, all the time and information you've got. And I know this is greatly appreciated. So if they want to contact you, they can call you or Facebook you, webpage you. How they need to do that?
They can call the office or call me personally. I'm going to give my number.
That's fine.
Yep, 817-403-1390. Just call me, it's my cell phone, and I can answer any questions you have.
Yeah. And like I said, we talked about the Facebook Live a while ago. You know, you can kind of look in there for the horse deal if you want to look at that as well. But anyway, you can get a hold of them. They'll be glad to help you out and work with you on all this deal. David, we appreciate all your
Thank you
help
very
and
much.
time. Sorry.
Appreciate you coming.
Yep.